Hi, welcome back to West Coast Geeks. I'm your host, Joaquin. How we doing, people? Now, this is the part where I usually introduce Eric, but Eric's work schedule is pretty tight this week, so we couldn't get together. So here I am, going solo. And today's video is top 10 interesting desert encounters for all levels. So I was thinking about making like short encounter videos, and I thought I'd start out with like deserts because I've always found deserts being for RPG games, regardless whether you're playing D and D or whatever, because um, other resources can come into play for the player characters, like exhaustion and of course water. Unless your character is playing your as a DM, your group, you have a druid, and then he just takes good berries that. And like, well, I just made up all these charts for nothing. Note to self: kill the druid. And if you're going to kill the druid, then let's start off with number 10, Cobalt. CR 1 and a fourth rating. So, if you listen to some other videos when I'm talking about Cobalts, you know I love killing the party with Cobalts. And insert Eric laugh now. For those of you who've been watching the other, Cobalts are really crafty, and as a DM, they allow you to do so much with just these little creatures. You know, they're miners. They pretty much are found everywhere except for like maybe like the snow, but even then, that'd give you a good opportunity to make an MP like a Cobalt guide. And at first, the party don't know if they could trust him, and it's up to you as a DM whether they should or shouldn't. But he's kind of like you can play him like a neutral good, and he just takes the characters wherever they need to go for a price, and he lets them know up front, look, I'm just a guide. I'm not gonna aid you in combat. In fact, I'll run away until the fight is over. And if they die, then he'll just loot their bodies. And, so that there's a lot of things you can do with cobalts, and in the desert, it's even better because the cobalt inventor, he can be constantly catching scorpions, and their scouts can pester the party with them and all these other little things. For a level one encounter, I would like put like 3 to 4 cobalt scouts and have them harass the party for a second, and then take it from there and see what happens. That's number 10. Next, number 9, Death Dog with a CR1. I gotta say, people, I love the art on this, and Death Dog's a pretty cool encounter because most likely with a desert encounter, you're usually going to be escorting some kind of caravan or be part of a caravan yourself, and so these type of encounters is the sun setting, and then over the dunes, you see shadows of these first appear dogs until they have 2 heads. Throw 2 to 8 of these at the party. Oh, it's a lot of fun, people. Death dogs. Um, and they're low level CR1, so this is like from like first to second level adventurers where they can start to, you know, have a little fun, get some free XP, and try not to kill any of your player characters because they're still new. Brings us to number 8. Cannot be in the desert without facing giant scorpions. I'd probably wait till they were around third level. If you want to do second or first, I would have them face one giant scorpion. But with a party of 4 at level 3, I'd probably face them like either 2 or 3. I would gauge upon where their hit points are at, what the damage is their tank is doing, that type of thing. So scorpions are interesting because you can have these guys just pop out of the sand, out of nowhere. Um, if I would only do one giant scorpion encounter, it'd be at night then. And what happens is they just happen to camp over the scorpion, and he just had patience and waited for them and waited for night. And then once it was like midnight and it's all cool, pops up and attacks. Good times, people. Good times. Eric Expochili went number 8 in good time. High score. So that brings us to number 7. This is gonna be a short video because I don't have anybody bounce off any questions or anything. But I like the Mummy as a CR3. Um, there's like would encounter this as a small tomb that they would discover, like maybe after a sandstorm. An entrance is slightly exposed, or maybe some of the building structure. And if the party wants to go in and investigate, I'd make it a simple five, well, yeah, 5 to 8 room easy dungeon to put up together, and have some traps that are not deadly where you're trying to kill them, but they're just damaging them. And so when they get to the final encounter, which is the mummy, and of course they can get some cool treasure, they're already at a weakened state, and then the mummy encounter becomes more deadly. Um, if they insist upon taking a short rest in here, I would constantly be attacking them with like little scorpions or swarms, something that wouldn't allow them to rest. But that's just me. All right, number 6, the Reverend. So the Reverend's cool because the CR5. Um, Again, in between third and fifth level, this is a great encounter, especially if you have them encounter somebody who killed the Reverend, and that's why he's looking for this person, and they gave him aid, and then maybe they sent him off on his way, or the person who the Reverend's trying to kill is claiming to be good, and that he killed this evil person, and now he's come back for his revenge, and he needs your help to protect him, and that he'll pay you. Whether he does or doesn't, that's up to you. That could be a fun encounter because either the first way where the person stays with the party for a night or two, um, the Reverend will catch them because they're able to track whoever they're trying to kill, because they have 1 year to do it, and they're really hard to kill. So this is kind of like one of those encounters that they don't necessarily have to fight this. It's just a fun encounter to role play through. So, like the Reverend just appears and starts asking them questions, and if they start to lie about who it was, he's like, "I know he was here. I can track him." They don't have to like really like GPS precise tracking. They just have a general area. So have fun. And this is original art from the Fiend of Folio. That's why I found this. Oh, this is cool. All right, that brings us to number 5. Number 5 is Medusa. So she's CR6. Um, this is another one where you're gonna want to build a layer, and this layer will have traps, and some of the traps will be deadly that are meant to kill or severely wound a party member, to where Medusa can try to get in sneak attacks, and the the hint, and most of them will notice the hint once you start saying that there are statues everywhere. They'll be like, "Oh no, it's Medusa," and really, depending on how experienced your players are, I would give Medusa a ring of invisibility. Oh, and that would be fun. 'Cause they won't even know that they're looking at her. And so then she just hears a voice. I mean, the party just hears a voice, and then does an action, and she reveals herself. Everybody gets to roll initiative, and she should be able to get it with advantage. And then all those people who are in line of sight, so if they get to react before her, then they get to look away. If they react after her, and maybe there's some kind of like I don't know, kind of con save that you put a decent depending on the level, make it a bare minimum of 15, and then go up. Like I said, depending on the level, because uh, your party of four of average of like 4 to 6 level characters are just gonna chew her up. Even if they close their eyes and they want to fight at disadvantage, yeah, they can get bit by the poison snakes. I would at that point maybe give Medusa like dual weapons or something and have the weapons poison. So it like there are ways you can protect your Medusa and make it like not a memorial, a memorable encounter. Other magic items that you could give could be like a ring of spell storing. You could have Medusa be like a minor spell caster. I wouldn't push it past 3 or level 4, depending on what your party level is. If you move this encounter up, but having a couple of spells and a ring of spell storing, or giving her a magic wand where she's trying to put distance and using her gaze attack. These are all little like encounters as a DM to just make this, otherwise what should be a fun encounter, a deadly encounter because it is Medusa and you gotta treat um, creatures with respect. Speaking of respect, number 4, young blue dragons, R9. So if you're in the desert, there should already be rumors of a dragon, and just don't say it's a blue dragon. I mean, you can kind of put that room. But you got to give them a name and start building some rumors about this dragon and maybe a little bit of lore to make this encounter like more interesting. So it's not just some, hey, it's a young blue dragon, we kill it and take all its treasure. To maybe they negotiate. Maybe the blue dragon doesn't really want to fight this party of adventurers, has dealt with adventurers before, and has been lucky enough to kill them. And at this point, it's just kind of like a little bit wary. And it's interesting to make a trade for like information, or maybe they just want to eat one of your horses. Or there are ways you can go with dragons. Just don't let them just be just some like video game encounter where all they do is just rack up on it. Um, the moment these dragons take 25% of their hit points, they're going to start being more cautious. And remember, this is in the desert, so they can easily fly away from most parties at mid range level without a problem. Um, but I know that upsets a lot of player characters, so you're going to have to release your party with that. Right. Number 3. Okay, so we got Nefreet, and it's a CR11. So Nefreets are interesting. Nefreets can be found in like a bottle, and can be servants. Maybe you encounter an Efreet that comes out of a portal to the elemental plane of fire, and this Efreet's job is just to guard the portal because it leads to one of the Efreet cities, and his only job is really just to guard the portal. And as long as you don't insist upon going through without permission, then everything's going to be okay. But if you insist upon trying to go through, then Ifrit is going to, whether it's a male or female, is going to summon up fire elementals. These are just little like quick things off the top of my head where uh, I was thinking about this video. It's like, oh, this would be cool, just coming up with some quick encounters. Efreets are good with like lore. They can give you legends and rumors about the area, the desert that they're in. If the party pays them Efreet with treasure, you know. So like treat this encounter as not necessarily it has to be a combat, but if it does become a combat, we're talking CR11. So at this point, you really are. I mean, even with the blue dragon, you really are trying to kill your player characters play and treat these monsters as intelligent encounters. All right, so that brings us to number two, the Rock. The Rock is a I mean, the Rock can be a deadly encounter, or it could just be a short. Just it gets blasted with like fireballs, magic missiles, a lightning bolt, and a couple of other wizard spells. Because we're talking like at this stage, the players are usually 9 and 11 when they're facing off on this. So by then they've got extreme long range firepower, depending on how many spellcasters are in the group and what they can do. So even a charm monster or charm animal, I guess, like the definitions on those, um, could really being a hamper to or put a monkey wrench to the DM's plans because you're like, the rock comes down and sees you guys as the meal, and all of a sudden you're like charm monster or charm animal, most likely charm monster, and all of a sudden the player characters have this big, huge mount that you did not intend them to have, and now they're just flying over the desert, and you know you're like, so um, yeah, be careful with this encounter. Try to make it a fun encounter. Try to make like the players shouldn't see this as some big giant bird that they just kill really quickly. It should be something that they fear because it is a giant bird, and these type of encounters are meant to be deadly. Which brings us up to number one, the Mummy Lord, CR-15. So the Mummy Lord's interesting because at this point, this is really a dedicated little temple that they're going to be going into, or a dungeon that should be at least 2 to 3 levels down, minimum 5 to 8 rooms per level. And as each level they go down, becomes more deadlier. And by level 2, the Mummy Lord should be aware of the player character's presence. And there's going to be a lot of undead. You're going to be facing hordes of zombies, skeletons, um, whites, ghouls, most likely maybe even some shadows. But all of these are going to be serving the Mummy Lord. And on top of that, he'll probably have a few more elite mummy bodyguards. So there's a lot you could go for that. So that's why I have it at number one. All these encounters, you can make a nice little adventure out of this. Where the player characters they could be looking for a book or some kind of you know um, information to an artifact or even a minor artifact itself. The Mummy Lord is a great encounter for deserts, and you know I haven't done a desert encounter in a long time. I want to say the Goodman Games just came out about a year ago, maybe a little bit longer. B or B or the Lost City, and that is a cool adventure. So that's something you can grab if you want to do a desert thing, but or you can just get it to get some inspiration to come up with. But Mummy Lord, great way to end your desert campaign. You can take inspiration from a few movies, like even the one with like Brandon Fraser and the Mummy and all that. You can even go that route where he's some kind of being that's trying to ascend to godhood, and the player characters are sent to stop him. So go wild. Mummy Lord, shouldn't be an easy pushover. It should be a cool boss fight. Alright, the wrap ups. I just talked about it. All these encounters make a cool adventure themed around the Mummy Lord. Also, you could be sent to investigate rumors that a mummy king is raising up an army of undead, and every night they travel and expand their territory to where um, they have this artifact that allows them to summon up clouds, everything dark, and so that's how you can tell this big army is moving. Like, whatever, I'm just spitballing, but these are little things you can do as a DM. Just be creative. Um, Look for many inspiration, whether it's books or movies, videos, and just have fun. So that's what all these like D&D videos are there to help you, or these are just resources that you can use that will hopefully inspire you to make an interesting or cool, which I've said a lot too. Just to have an amazing, well, you go with amazing, with an amazing encounter and just an adventure that's like themed and your player characters won't see coming that the main villain at the end is like Mommy Lord. So, anyways, that's a quick video. Hopefully Eric and I will be able to. It's not a quick. Now for us it would be 21. If Eric was here, it would be way past that. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit the like button. Did you agree with my list? Yeah, I was looking through um Tasha's, or I mean, Xanatar's Guide to Everything, and I was looking at their CR, and they have a lot of things like gnolls and hyenas and some other things, but I feel these creatures that I listed in this list is to help you make an adventure that's different than most people will normally play in when it comes to desert. So with that, people, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll catch you later.